Joining us this week on the Daily Dose, we have our local CU Boulder and baseball correspondent. Young Jimmie is going to walk us through exactly what to expect in these Major League Baseball playoffs. Jimmie, welcome back to the Dose. Always good to have you here.
Oh, it is a fantastic being back. I always have a good time.
Jimmie, you texted me on Friday morning, if I recall. The Major League Baseball playoffs started at 6 a.m. on Friday. MLB did their best to hide these games from sports fans, but they had no luck because you still found them. But, there is something really special about postseason baseball, isn't there?
Oh, God. And it's such a different feeling where every pitch really matters. It's easy. There's so many games in the regular season where, it's really can get monotonous and you can kind of doze off, but every pitch matters in the playoffs and you really feel it. You get to a certain count, there's guys on base. The pressure is on. I love it.
For sure. It just has a different feeling. Everything about it is different. We get that long season, and the season can get dry. Even the most adamant baseball fan can be like, okay, let's get to the postseason. But when you get to the postseason, and everything matters, and every pitch matters, it gets so much more interesting. But before we dive into baseball, Jimmy, we've got a few other subjects that are in the news these days. We've got a number of things to talk to you about today. First off, got to mention this. The Colorado State Rams got a win on Friday night over the University of Nevada, leaving your Colorado Buffaloes as the lone college football team in the country without a single win. Hey, you fired head coach Karl Dorrell last week. Who is it that CU Buffs fans are hoping to hire to take over that program?
Clint, there is a multitude of coaches that I'm seeing. I'm seeing guys saying Joel Klatt.
What?
Guys, Joel Klatt's never coached a game in his life.
He's not a coach.
Maybe a little. Maybe he coaches kids. That's not a coach. There's a ton of names getting tossed around, a ton of delusional fans.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot, of substance right now because we're so early on in the race when it comes to that. I'm seeing a lot of people like Bronco Mendenhall.
Mendenhall would be a great hire. You can't get him, but...
I'm a little worried about him retiring.
Yeah, he's
up and pretty
quit.
old. He just up and quit.
Yeah.
I don't really like that. I do like that he's an established head coach with some wins under his belt. I do appreciate that. Dorrell just really didn't have that in any kind of way. He's been around in the college game. He did take that time off, but he's been around recently in the college game. He knows what he's doing.
Sure.
I like that. A little more than I like some of the other ones.
Mendenhall can coach. I'll give you that. Mendenhall can coach. Is his heart fully in it? He's an older guy. That would concern me a little bit, but that I would be okay with that. That's not a bad pick. What else you got?
A few other people like Tom Herman.
Tom Herman,
he would be
former
interesting.
Texas coach.
He would be interesting.
Hey, he pulled some recruits.
He did pull some recruits, and
won some games.
He's a pretty big name, and he would be interesting. I would like that just because he is the name to pull and pull recruits and turn heads. That time at Texas. He didn't do bad at all.
No, just not to Texas.
Just not to Texas
expectations, which are always
standards.
unrealistic.
Yeah, exactly. And, he played in those big games. He knows how to run a big program.
Yeah.
I hope that he can flip that. I'd love for him to flip a Colorado, and that would bring national attention to us, which would be fantastic in any kind of good light, because we've been rocking in the shadows for a long time.
Are those the two candidates that you guys are leaning towards?
There's a few others.
got?
Mike Sanford is in the mix. Our current interim head coach.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to make it.
Sure.
I think he would have to pretty much win out to get that job.
Okay.
I don't really feel like that's realistic at all. James Madison's head coach, Kurt Sinjetti. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Sinjetti.
Madison wins games.
Madison wins games. He was under Nick Saban for a while. He coached over on some of the big programs. He is in the Sun Belt Division. He's coached at Division II. He's kind of worked his way up. He's proven that he can win. But my issue is this: I think I would rather have an established winner. I feel like
you can't take any more chances.
We can't. Tucker bailed out on us.
Yes.
Dorrell was terrible. Right. This one's got to be, a home run.
You got to land this.
Our athletic director, Rick George, knows that. He cannot miss for a third time or his job is gone.
Agreed.
And I feel like you got to shell out some money for him, and you got to really commit, because you got to make sure he doesn't do what Mel Tucker did and just up and leave.
Right. That's the hard part.
Colorado cannot be a stepping stone towards a bigger job like Mel Tucker did.
Agreed 100%. You have a couple guys in the state and one just not that far away. Dave Logan at Cherry Creek High School has won a ton of games. He is a CU alum. I know he's maybe a little older. I don't know if he's never done the recruiting thing. He's never done the recruiting thing. He's never done the college recruiting thing. We'll change it to that. You've got Ed McCaffrey up at UNC. Hasn't had a ton of success yet up at UNC. What about that offensive coordinator out for the Kansas City Chiefs by the name of Eric Bieniemy? There has to be interest in Eric Bieniemy. Not that he would come, but you got to be interested, right?
Of course there's interest in Eric Bieniemy. I just have an issue right now with Colorado hiring alumni.
I don't blame you.
It hasn't worked out outside of running back coach Darian Hagan.
Yes.
It really hasn't.
He's always good.
He's always good. Yeah,
he's always good.
He's had, Colorado, if anything, if they had a strength, it's the running back crew in the last 10 years. But there's issues with hiring Colorado alums, and that if they don't pan out, it's just a name that everyone connects with to their glory days. And then they don't pan out, and now everyone hates them. Right. A lot of people just hated on Shiverini for a long time. Yeah. People don't like John Embry. People hate Carl Durrell now. It hasn't worked out, and there hasn't really been one that's come in here and gotten the job done.
Well, and go hire the best person for the job. I don't care about your background. I don't care where you went. I don't care. Hire the best person. And if you do that, you guys will be fine. Here's the downside. I want you to listen to me, and you're not going to like it. It's going to be a little bit hard to hear this, but I want you to listen to me. Remember this. Hippies don't win at like real sports. You're up at CU, you're in Boulder, like hacky sack, frisbee. Yes, you're really good at that. But real sports, it's always going to be a little bit tougher. Jimmy, we saw some more shakeups in college football over the weekend. One of the shakeups we saw was your best friend Mel Tucker, as Michigan State got throttled by Ohio State. Hey, we just saw Coach Chris get fired up at Wisconsin. Mel Tucker's record is the same at Michigan State as Chris was at Wisconsin. Is Mel Tucker getting himself in a little bit of trouble up there?
First of all, you love to see it.
Well, you love to see it. I don't blame you. I understand it.
I'm loving it. Like
sure you
McDonald's. I don't feel like he's got to really worry about his job right now. They're paying him way too much
giving him big money.
He can do whatever he wants for the next 3 years, and they're not going to touch him. I feel like he is a good recruiter, and he's gonna turn it around at some point. He knows how to run a good team. He's been around the championship programs, but I'm gonna enjoy this while I can. That guy is not running a good team right now. He's struggling, and I'm gonna hop on board that struggle bus, and I'm gonna enjoy the ride.
I don't blame you. LSU got throttled over the weekend as well. Tennessee took them to the woodshed, and we're starting to see Brian Kelly look a lot like Brian Kelly looked at Notre Dame. Anytime he faces a good team, he gets beat and gets whooped up on, and that just kind of seems to be par for the course. That's kind of how this goes. Georgia looks okay again. I'm still not quite sure what to make of them. Interesting weekend in college football. Yeah, and it was a lot of close calls, not a whole lot of big upsets or anything like that. College football is going to be interesting to watch as we come down the stretch, though. But, Jimmy, you're doing a lot of work for CU. You're working for 24/7 Sports. You're hosting shows. You're interviewing people. I've listened to a few of the shows that you're doing. I've listened to a few of the segments that you're doing. What is the latest and greatest? What are the events that you are covering right now up at CU?
Well, right now it has been some of the fans have been turning their heads towards basketball for a while now, but we are finally, as the media, looking towards the hoops, and it's definitely more exciting than what we got going on the football field. Colorado is an exciting team. Colorado is a very young team, so they are likely to come out and make some young mistakes. They've brought in a few older guys to come in, a few graduate students, both of them from Ivy League schools. We got some
Ivy League,
some smarties on the team.
What?
Princeton and Yale.
Wow, that's a bold move.
And let me tell you, after talking to these guys know how to talk. They will give you quote unquote paragraphs that makes writing so easy.
Heck yeah.
And one of my favorite quotes was coming from our guy from Princeton. He is a white guy. He's like 6'2". That was like a described him.
What?
That was a quote from him. I'm just a, scrawny white guy. So when I go and play pickup games, nobody passes me the ball. Nobody passes me the ball until they see what I can do, and they're like, oh, crap, who's this guy?
Right.
But other than that, Colorado is definitely going to be an exciting team. I wouldn't be surprised if they upset some big names this year like they did last year with Arizona. They naturally have a few slots to fill leadership-wise with Jabari Walker and Evan Batty gone. But they're definitely a team to watch out for.
Tad Boyle is a very good coach. He's a very nice guy. You are going to enjoy anytime you get a chance to work with Tad. I heard a rumor. Well, in fact, I saw some pictures. You got to ask some questions to Coach Boyle up there at CU, didn't you?
I did. I was determined.
Had to get one in.
I did get one in. It was just some stuff to boost up the article I was writing. I just wanted some quotes outside of the ones that I got from the player. But I missed out when Colorado had its football media day to ask Carl Dorrell a question.
Oh, you didn't miss anything. You don't want to ask him anything, and he wouldn't have given you nothing.
He would have given me 6 ums and 8 you-knows.
Exactly. That's no loss. What did you ask Coach Boyle? What was your question for him? Do you remember?
Just some stupid stuff like how is the Yale kid fitting in on the team, and what can we expect from this one guy that I wrote an article about, Luke O'Brien? What can we expect him off the bench? Because he was big and he's developing a leadership role on the team. Just some softballs.
Did Coach Boyle give you a good answer at least?
He gave me a great answer. He's reliable.
He's a nice guy. If you don't know Tad Boyle is a Colorado high school coach. Super nice man. I'm not always like cheering for CU because we know how that all goes, but Tad Boyle is a good guy. We're cheering for Tad Boyle. Hey, YouTube. This week on The Dose, just so you know, we're going to be talking to young Jimmie a little bit more. He is in studio with us. We've got some questions about the NFL. We've got some questions about the Denver Broncos. We've got some questions, maybe a little bit about the NHL. But then what we're really going to be doing is we're going to be previewing the MLB postseason. We are going to be Jimmie's thoughts on a number of things in the Major League Baseball playoffs. So be sure you go over and you check out the full podcast. I will leave a link here in the comments on YouTube for you. Hope you all are doing well. I will see you all next week. Have a great week.